Ladies and gentlemen, you are the architect of your own life, and no one else will lay the bricks for your dreams. This world isn't going to hand you blueprints or provide a team to construct your success. That responsibility falls solely on you. It's easy to wish for someone to come along and show you the way, to hold your hand through life's challenges, or to rescue you when things fall apart. But the truth is, no one will invest in your vision as deeply as you will or should. If you're waiting for someone to care about your ambitions as much as you do, you'll be waiting forever. Life is a construction site full of raw materials, obstacles, and potential, but you're the one who decides how to piece it all together. Every decision you make, every action you take is a brick in the structure of your future. Whether you build a strong foundation or a shaky one depends on how much effort and focus you put into your work. No one else can do it for you, and no one else will care as much about the details of your life as you do. Your dreams are not someone else's responsibility, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can get to work on building something extraordinary. Understand that the world doesn't owe you anything. The people around you might have their opinions, their judgments, or their indifference, but their involvement in your life doesn't determine your destiny. If you spend your time waiting for approval or assistance, you'll miss the opportunity to make your mark. Every successful person you admire became the architect of their own life, not because they had all the resources, but because they refused to wait for someone else to provide them. They got up, drew their own plans, and started building. Taking ownership of your life means facing the reality that setbacks are inevitable, but there are also opportunities for growth. The walls you build might crack, or a storm might knock them down. But as the architect, it's your job to repair, reinforce, and rebuild. You must have a vision so clear and compelling that no failure, no rejection, no setback can shake your resolve. You must become relentless in pursuing your goals because no one else is going to hand them to you. Being the architect also means you need to learn the tools of the trade. You can't build something remarkable with wishful thinking and no skills. Invest in yourself, learn, grow, and develop the abilities you need to bring your vision to life. Whether it's through education, mentorship, or relentless practice, you must equip yourself with the knowledge and tools required to succeed. Don't wait for someone to teach you. Seek out the lessons you need and apply them every single day. Moreover, as the architect of your life, you must be prepared to make hard choices. There will be times when you have to say no to distractions, cut ties with toxic influences, or sacrifice comfort for progress. Those decisions might feel isolating, but they are necessary to create the life you want. No one else can see your vision as clearly as you can, so don't expect them to understand or support every choice you make. This is your blueprint, your dream, and your responsibility. It's also important to remember that being the architect of your life doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. It means you take responsibility for finding the right resources, the right people, and the right opportunities to support your vision. But even in collaboration, you remain the one in charge. You are the leader of your life's project, and everyone else plays a supporting role. Don't give up that leadership to anyone because no one else has your best interests at heart like you do. In this journey, discipline and perseverance are your most valuable tools. When you're tired, frustrated, or doubting yourself, it's discipline that will keep you going. It's perseverance that will push you to lay one more brick, take one more step, and move closer to your vision. Motivation might come and go, but discipline is what sustains you when the going gets tough. Your ability to stay committed to your goals, even when no one is watching or cheering you on, is what will separate you from the crowd. Recognizing that no one cares as much about your life as you do isn't a negative realization, it's a freeing one. It means you have full control over your destiny. It means you don't have to wait for anyone's permission or approval to chase your dreams. It means you are powerful beyond measure, capable of designing and building a life that reflects your deepest aspirations. people value results, not excuses. This is a harsh truth that many shy away from, but understanding it can transform your approach to life and success. Excuses are easy to make. They provide temporary comfort, a way to explain away shortcomings or justify inaction. But the world isn't moved by explanations, it's moved by outcomes. Results speak louder than any words, and they hold the weight of credibility and achievement that excuses can never match. In any arena, be it professional, personal, or societal, results are the currency of trust and respect. People are drawn to those who deliver, who show through their actions that they can overcome challenges and produce outcomes. Nobody wants to hear why something didn't happen. They want to see the evidence of effort, perseverance, and success. Excuses may explain the why, but they don't change the reality of what is or isn't done. When you focus on results, you shift your mindset from victimhood to ownership. Life throws obstacles in everyone's path: time constraints, unforeseen circumstances, or limited resources. These are universal struggles, but what sets achievers apart is their refusal to let those obstacles define their outcomes. Instead of leaning on excuses, they lean into problem solving. They ask, what can I do with what I have? Or how can I turn this setback into an opportunity? This mentality not only drives results, but also builds character and resilience. Excuses, on the other hand, are seductive. They allow you to rationalize mediocrity and avoid accountability. It's easier to say, I didn't have enough time, than to admit you didn't prioritize effectively. It's simpler to blame external factors than to confront the uncomfortable truth that you could have done more, tried harder, or adapted better. But every time you choose excuses over results, you diminish your credibility. Over time, people stop believing in you, not because you're incapable, but because you've conditioned them to see you as unreliable. The results are what leave a mark. Think about the moments in history or in your own life that inspire you. They're not the times when someone explained why they couldn't do something. They're the times when someone overcame adversity and made it happen. Results inspire confidence, not only in others, but in yourself. When you achieve something, no matter how small, it builds momentum. It shows you that you're capable, that your efforts matter, and that you can shape your reality. Achieving results requires discipline and focus. It's about cutting through distractions and honing in on what truly matters. Excuses often stem from a lack of clarity or a failure to prioritize. When you're clear about your goals and committed to them, you find ways to make them happen, even when the odds are stacked against you. You wake up earlier, work harder, and push past the discomfort because you know the end result is worth it. Moreover, results breed opportunities. Success has a way of attracting more success. When people see that you're someone who delivers, they want to work with you, invest in you, and support you. Your track record becomes your reputation, and your results become your calling card. Excuses, on the other hand, close doors. They signal that you're unreliable or unwilling to rise to the occasion, and people are less likely to trust or invest in you. Focusing on results doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending that obstacles don't exist. It means acknowledging them, but not letting them become the defining narrative. It means taking responsibility for finding solutions, even when they're not obvious or easy. It's about being proactive rather than reactive, adaptable rather than rigid. Results-oriented people understand that circumstances may not always be ideal, but waiting for perfection is just another excuse in disguise. It's also important to recognize that results don't always have to be grand or earth-shattering. Small wins matter too. They build confidence and create a foundation for bigger achievements. The key is to consistently strive for progress rather than perfection. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a result that moves you closer to your goals. Excuses, on the other hand, keep you stagnant, trapped in a cycle of inaction and regret. At the end of the day, results are what move the needle. They're what people remember and what you can point to with pride. They're the evidence of your commitment, your effort, and your ability to overcome obstacles. Excuses might feel comforting in the moment, but they don't build anything lasting. They don't create opportunities, inspire confidence, or leave a legacy. Results do. The choice between results and excuses is one you face every day. It's in the decision to get up early and work on your goals, even when you're tired. It's in the choice to keep going after a setback instead of giving up. It's in the commitment to prioritize your dreams over temporary comfort. Results require effort, focus, and a willingness to push through discomfort, but the rewards are immeasurable. Dependence weakens you. It's a truth that many overlook because relying on others can feel safe and comforting, but when you lean too heavily on anyone, be it emotionally, financially, or mentally, you surrender a piece of your own power. You give up control over your life and your decisions, and over time, this dependency erodes your confidence, resilience, and self-worth. True strength comes from self-reliance, from knowing that you can stand firm no matter what storms come your way. Dependence creates a false sense of security. When you depend on others to provide for your needs, you start to believe that your well-being is tied to their actions, decisions, or approval. This places you in a vulnerable position because people are unpredictable. They change, they leave, or they fail to meet expectations. And when they do, you're left floundering, feeling helpless and unsure of how to move forward. The more you depend, the less control you have over your own life. Overdependence robs you of the opportunity to grow. Struggles and challenges are what shape us. They teach us resilience, problem solving, and how to adapt. When you rely on someone else to handle those challenges for you, you miss out on those lessons. You remain in a state of arrested development, never fully stepping into your potential. The more you outsource your problems to others, the weaker you become, and the harder it gets to stand on your own 2 feet when the time comes. Dependence also creates imbalance in relationships. When you lean too heavily on someone, you risk becoming a burden. It's not that people don't care or don't want to help, but there's a limit to what anyone can or should carry. A healthy relationship, whether it's a friendship, partnership, or family bond, is built on mutual support and respect. When one person is doing all the giving and the other is doing all the taking, resentment can creep in. Over time, this imbalance can strain or even break the relationship. Furthermore, dependence weakens your decision-making abilities. When you constantly look to others for guidance, validation, or direction, you lose the ability to trust your own instincts. You become afraid to make decisions on your own, worried about getting it wrong or facing judgment. This lack of confidence creates a cycle where you rely even more on others, further eroding your sense of autonomy. The truth is, making mistakes is part of life. It's how you learn, grow, and become better. But you can't do that if you're always deferring to someone else. Financial dependence is a particularly dangerous trap. Money is power. And when you rely on someone else to provide for your financial needs, you give up a significant amount of control over your life. You're at the mercy of their choices, their generosity, or their willingness to continue supporting you. This can leave you feeling powerless and trapped, especially if the relationship becomes strained or unhealthy. Financial independence isn't just about having money, it's about having the freedom to make your own choices and live life on your terms. Emotional dependence is equally crippling. When you rely on someone else to validate your worth or provide your happiness, you place an impossible burden on them. No one can meet all your emotional needs, and expecting them to do so sets both of you up for disappointment. True happiness and self-worth must come from within. When you depend on others for these things, you lose sight of your own value and become vulnerable to manipulation or mistreatment. Emotional independence allows you to form healthier, more balanced relationships based on mutual respect, not neediness. Dependence also stifles your creativity and problem-solving abilities. When you always have someone else to fall back on, you're less likely to think outside the box or push yourself to find solutions. You become complacent, comfortable in the knowledge that someone else will handle things for you. But comfort is the enemy of growth. When you're forced to figure things out on your own, you tap into a well of resourcefulness and ingenuity that you didn't even know you had. That's where true strength lies, in your ability to overcome obstacles, not avoid them. The irony of dependence is that it often comes from a place of fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of being alone. But in trying to avoid these fears, you create a situation that's even more limiting. Dependence chains you to others, making you less free and less capable. True freedom comes from self-reliance, from knowing that you can face whatever comes your way because you have the skill, strength, and determination to handle it. Self-reliance isn't about rejecting help or isolating yourself. It's about building a foundation of strength and capability within yourself so that you don't need to depend on others. When you do accept help, it's a choice, not a necessity. This distinction is important because it puts you in control. It allows you to maintain your dignity and self-respect even in difficult times. Dependence over time diminishes your ability to dream big and take risks. When you're tied to someone else's resources, opinions, or decisions, you're less likely to step out of your comfort zone. You start to play it safe, afraid of losing the support you've come to rely on. But playing it safe rarely leads to greatness. Independence gives you the freedom to take risks, chase your dreams, and live life on your own terms. Breaking free from dependence requires courage and effort. It means facing your fears and stepping into the unknown. It means taking responsibility for your own life and refusing to let others dictate your path. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Every step you take toward independence strengthens you, builds your confidence, and brings you closer to the life you want to live. Your pain is yours to overcome. It's a heavy truth, but a liberating one. Pain is an unavoidable part of life. No one escapes it. Whether it stems from loss, rejection, failure, or disappointment, pain touches everyone in different forms. Yet, what defines us is not the pain itself, but how we choose to confront it. Waiting for someone else to heal you, fix you, or carry you out of your suffering will only deepen your despair. The responsibility to face and overcome your pain lies squarely on your shoulders. Pain often feels isolating, as if no one else could possibly understand the depth of what you're going through. And perhaps they can't, not fully. That's why your journey through pain is unique and personal. No one can step inside your heart and feel what you feel. No one can fully grasp the memories or emotions tied to your suffering. While others can offer support, advice, or a shoulder to lean on, the internal work, the real, gritty process of healing is yours alone. There's immense power in acknowledging this. When you take ownership of your pain, you reclaim control over your life. Pain can either define you or refine you, and the choice is yours. If you let it, pain will anchor you to the past, keeping you stuck in cycles of self-pity and resentment. But if you confront it, if you dig deep and face the source of your hurt, you transform it into fuel for growth. This is not about ignoring your pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about deciding that it will not break you. The first step in overcoming pain is accepting it. This sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest things to do. Many people try to outrun their pain, masking it with distractions like work, relationships, or substances. They tell themselves they're fine, that they've moved on, all while the pain lingers in the shadows, affecting their actions, thoughts, and decisions. True healing begins when you stop running and face your pain head on. Acknowledge its presence, allow yourself to feel it fully, and understand that it's okay to hurt. This is not weakness, it's humanity. Once you've accepted your pain, the next step is to analyze it. Ask yourself, where is this pain coming from? What does it teach me about myself, my choices, or my life? Pain often holds lessons that can lead to profound self-awareness. It forces you to confront aspects of yourself that you might have ignored or avoided. It reveals your vulnerabilities, your desires, and sometimes your mistakes. By examining your pain with honesty and courage, you can uncover insights that help you grow stronger and wiser. Overcoming pain also requires patience. Healing is not a linear process, nor is it something that happens overnight. There will be days when you feel like you've made progress and others when it feels like you're back at square one. This ebb and flow can be frustrating, but it's part of the journey. Give yourself grace during this time. Understand that healing is a process and there's no set timeline for when you should feel better. Your pain is yours, and so is your pace of overcoming it. Pain demands action. Sitting in your suffering without making an effort to move forward will only deepen its hold on you. This doesn't mean you need to immediately solve all your problems or fix everything that's broken. It means taking small, consistent steps toward healing. Seek therapy, journal your thoughts, talk to someone you trust, or explore activities that bring you joy and peace. Every positive action you take chips away at the power pain has over you. Learning to forgive yourself and others is another crucial part of overcoming pain. Holding on to grudges or self-blame only keeps you chained to your suffering. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or minimizing your hurt. It means releasing the burden of resentment so that you can move forward without its weight dragging you down. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, a way to reclaim your energy and focus on your own well-being instead of dwelling on what cannot be changed. Resilience is built through pain. Each time you face your struggles, you strengthen your ability to endure and overcome. Pain teaches you to adapt, to find solutions, and to persevere even when the odds seem stacked against you. The scars you carry are not signs of weakness, but of survival. They are proof that you have endured and come out the other side. Embrace your scars, not as reminders of suffering, but as symbols of your strength and resilience. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you during this process. While overcoming pain is ultimately your responsibility, having a support system can make the journey less lonely. Choose to spend time with those who encourage your growth, who listen without judgment, and who remind you of your worth when you forget it yourself. Let them be your safety net as you take the courageous steps toward healing. Finally, remember that pain can serve a purpose. It has the potential to become a powerful motivator, pushing you toward greater self-awareness, empathy, and purpose. Many of the greatest triumphs and transformations are born out of struggle. Pain forces you to reevaluate your life, your priorities, and your values. It pushes you to grow in ways you never imagined. While pain is never easy or welcome, it can be a catalyst for profound change if you allow it to be. Your pain is yours to overcome, and that is both a challenge and a gift. No one else can walk your path for you, but in walking it, you will discover strength, resilience, and wisdom that you didn't know you possessed. Pain is a part of life, but it doesn't have to define your life. You have the power to rise above it, to heal, and to create a future that is not limited by your past. Turning indifference into motivation is one of the most powerful skills you can cultivate. Indifference from others, whether it comes from family, friends, colleagues, or society at large, can sting. It feels personal, like a dismissal of your worth or your dreams. But here's the truth: people's indifference is rarely about you. It's often a reflection of their own limitations, insecurities, or distractions. Yet the way you respond to indifference defines whether it becomes a stumbling block or a stepping stone. Indifference can feel like rejection, but it's not the same. Rejection is overt, it's clear, and it's hard to misinterpret. Indifference, on the other hand, is silent, subtle, and insidious. It's the unanswered call, the ignored message, the lack of acknowledgement for your efforts. It's the feeling that your contributions don't matter and that your presence is barely noticed. Indifference can make you question your value, your goals, and your direction. But it doesn't have to. Instead of internalizing it, use it as fuel to push forward. The first step to turning indifference into motivation is to reframe your perspective. Stop seeing indifference as a verdict on your worth and start viewing it as an opportunity to grow. Indifference challenges you to ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Are you chasing validation from others? Or are you driven by something deeper? The moment you shift your focus away from external approval and toward intrinsic motivation, indifference loses its power over you. You no longer need anyone's applause to keep going. You found your why, and that is enough. Indifference is a mirror. It reflects who truly supports you and who doesn't. This clarity is invaluable. It shows you who you can rely on and who you can't. Use this awareness to refine your circle and direct your energy toward people and opportunities that align with your vision. If someone's indifference makes you feel small, let that be a reminder to stand taller. If their apathy makes you feel invisible, use it as a prompt to shine even brighter. Their indifference doesn't diminish you, it highlights areas where you can become stronger, more self-sufficient, and more determined. Turning indifference into motivation also requires discipline. When others overlook your efforts or ignore your ideas, it's easy to become discouraged or bitter. But discipline allows you to keep moving forward even when recognition is absent. Discipline is the voice that tells you to get up early, to stay late, and to put in the work, not because someone is watching, but because you are committed to your own growth. Discipline transforms indifference into a source of inner strength. It reminds you that external validation is fleeting, but self-respect is lasting. Another way to harness indifference as motivation is to let it sharpen your focus. Indifference often comes when people don't understand or value what you're trying to achieve. That's fine, they don't have to. Your vision is yours, not theirs. Let their indifference remind you of your uniqueness. Use it to double down on your goals, refine your strategy, and hone your skills. Indifference can be a gift if it pushes you to prove, not to others, but to yourself, that you are capable of greatness. Remember, history is full of individuals who turned indifference into extraordinary achievements. Think about the artists whose work was ignored during their lifetimes but celebrated posthumously. Think about the entrepreneurs who were told their ideas were impractical only to revolutionize industries. Think about the athletes who were overlooked by scouts but went on to break records. What these individuals had in common was their ability to take the cold shoulder of indifference and transform it into a fire within. They didn't let the world's silence deter them, they let it drive them. It's also important to recognize that indifference can be a test of resilience. Life doesn't hand out rewards for effort alone. Sometimes you'll put your heart into something and no one will notice. That doesn't mean you stop trying. In those moments, you have a choice. You can let indifference make you give up, or you can let it make you relentless. The most successful people are not those who never face indifference. They are the ones who persist in spite of it. Indifference teaches you to rely on yourself. When no one else seems to care about your goals or your progress, you learn to become your own biggest cheerleader. This self-reliance is a cornerstone of true success. It means you don't need anyone else's permission to dream big, take risks, or keep going. It means you trust yourself enough to keep moving forward, even when the road feels lonely. Indifference also gives you an edge. When people underestimate you, they give you the freedom to grow without scrutiny. Use this to your advantage. Work in silence, refine your craft, and let your results speak for themselves. Let their indifference be the backdrop against which you build something remarkable. One day, when they finally take notice, they'll realize that their apathy didn't hold you back, it propelled you forward. Finally, let indifference remind you of the importance of empathy. When you've experienced the sting of being overlooked or dismissed, you become more aware of the power of acknowledgement. Use this awareness to uplift others. When you see someone struggling, offer them encouragement. When you see someone working hard, recognize their efforts. By choosing empathy over indifference, you not only build stronger connections, but also contribute to a world where fewer people have to face the sting of being ignored. Turning indifference into motivation is about reclaiming your power. It's about refusing to let the lack of external recognition dictate your self-worth or your path. It's about choosing to rise above apathy and use it as a catalyst for growth. Indifference doesn't define you, your response to it does. So take that indifference, transform it, and let it fuel your journey to greatness. Caring for yourself first is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-preservation and self-respect. In a world that often demands we give, compromise, and sacrifice for others, the importance of tending to our own needs and well-being cannot be overstated. When you neglect yourself, you run the risk of depleting your physical, emotional, and mental reserves, leaving you with little left to offer anyone else. Prioritizing self-care is not about shirking responsibilities or ignoring the needs of others. It is about building the foundation you need to navigate life with strength, clarity, and resilience. To care for yourself first means recognizing that you are the vessel through which everything in your life flows. If that vessel is cracked, worn out, or neglected, everything else suffers. Your ability to show up for your loved ones, to pursue your goals, and to handle life's challenges is directly tied to how well you take care of yourself. This doesn't just mean occasional rest or indulgence, it means a daily commitment to prioritizing your health, your peace, and your growth. Physical self-care is the starting point. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through life, and it deserves respect and attention. This means nourishing it with good food, staying active, getting enough sleep, and listening to what it needs. It means understanding that taking a day off when you're unwell is not weakness, it's wisdom. Ignoring your physical well-being in the name of productivity or obligations will eventually catch up with you. Caring for your body is not just about looking good or meeting societal standards. It's about ensuring you have the energy and strength to live fully. Emotional self-care is equally vital. Life is full of ups and downs, and your emotions are your guideposts telling you what needs attention. Suppressing your feelings or ignoring your emotional needs is like ignoring the warning lights on your car dashboard. It's a recipe for breakdown. Caring for yourself emotionally means allowing yourself to feel, process, and address what's going on inside you. It means setting boundaries with people who drain your energy or disrespect you. It means seeking support when you need it, whether from friends, family, or professionals. Emotional self-care is about honoring your feelings without letting them control you. Mental self-care is another cornerstone. The mind is a powerful tool, but it can also become a trap if left unchecked. Caring for yourself mentally involves protecting your thoughts and your focus. It means being mindful of the content you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the narratives you tell yourself. Negativity, comparison, and doubt are weeds that can overrun your mental garden if you're not careful. To care for your mind, you must actively cultivate positivity, growth, and resilience. This might mean practicing gratitude, meditating, or simply taking breaks when you feel overwhelmed. A well-cared-for mind is a fortress against the chaos of the world. Caring for yourself also requires saying no. It's one of the hardest but most necessary skills to master. People will always have expectations, requests, and demands. While it's important to help and connect with others, it's just as important to recognize when saying yes to someone else means saying no to yourself. Overcommitting, overextending, and overgiving lead to burnout, resentment, and exhaustion. Saying no is not about shutting people out, it's about honoring your limits and protecting your energy. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and the more you care for yourself, the more you'll have to give when it truly matters. Caring for yourself first also means understanding that self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's not just something you do when you have spare time or when everything else is done. It's something you weave into your daily life, a priority that shapes how you approach everything else. Whether it's taking a walk, journaling, spending time in nature, or simply allowing yourself to rest, self-care is an investment in your overall well-being. It's not about escaping your responsibilities, it's about equipping yourself to handle them better. Self-care also involves nurturing your passions and interests. Life is not just about work obligations and routines, it's about finding joy, pursuing dreams, and exploring what makes you feel alive. Caring for yourself means giving yourself permission to enjoy life, to prioritize your hobbies, and to celebrate your accomplishments. It means understanding that you are more than your job title, your roles, or your responsibilities. You are a whole person with unique talents, desires, and aspirations, and those deserve attention. Perhaps most importantly, caring for yourself first is about cultivating self-love and self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards and punishing ourselves for every mistake. Self-care involves treating yourself with the kindness, forgiveness, and understanding you would offer a dear friend. It means recognizing your worth independent of what you achieve or how others perceive you. It means being patient with yourself as you grow and evolve. When you care for yourself first, you set the tone for how others should treat you. You show them that you value yourself, that you respect your time and energy, and that you will not tolerate being taken for granted. Self-care is not about isolating yourself or prioritizing yourself at the expense of others. It's about creating a balance where your needs are met so you can show up as your best self in every area of your life. Ultimately, caring for yourself first is an act of empowerment. It's a declaration that you matter, that your well-being is non-negotiable, and that you are committed to living a life that honors who you are. It's about building a life where you thrive, not just survive, and where your inner world becomes a source of strength, peace, and joy. In the journey of life, one truth remains constant: you are the foundation of everything you build. No one else will carry the weight of your struggles or bear the responsibility of your choices. The world may not always care for your feelings, applaud your victories, or notice your pain, but that's precisely why self-reliance, self-respect, and self-care are paramount. You are the architect, the driving force, and the anchor of your own life. By recognizing your own power, valuing results over excuses, and turning indifference into motivation, you transform yourself into a force to be reckoned with. Dependence weakens, but discipline strengthens. Pain may test you, but overcoming it elevates you. Caring for yourself is not selfishness, it is the path to resilience, peace, and a life that aligns with your truest potential.